3 weeks ago, I killed my girlfriend, Melanie Palmer, chopped her body into 11 pieces and buried them in scattered, discreet locations around my state. This isn't a confession. Well, I guess it is, but that's not the driving force behind this admission. I don't expect any empathy, any guidance. I don't even expect anyone to take this seriously. Me? All the prerequisites have been said, though I suppose it wouldn't hurt to give you a rundown. I'm not what you'd call striking, though I've always made it a point to blend and flow with society, to delicately veneer my true nature with a cordial persona, however contrived. Maybe we've met, probably not. If we have, good luck pegging a name on me, or for that matter, finding me at all. Melanie wasn't my first victim. It's just that all the others were animals from all different clades. Fish, birds, mammals, reptiles. It's fascinating how each organism reacts in their own way. You see, our brains contain mirror neurons. They're responsible for that pity you feel when a wounded dog comes whimpering by your heel, and for the lack of it when a creature expresses pain in a manner you're unused to. Honestly, it's fucking shallow, but it's the human condition. Except, I'm human, and I'd like to say I'm past all that sickly, sweet bullshit. Let's be honest, feelings are a hindrance more often than not, so the trustworthy thing to do is observe. I mentioned dogs already. They always end up being a right mess. Screaming, writhing, contorting their limbs as if the thumbtacks in their eyes are gonna kill them. The idea of having kids has always been off-putting to me. Dealing with an indignant mutt is just as tedious. Chickens fuss a bit, then sort of freeze up once they realize flight isn't an option. Pun intended. The first few times it's funny, but it gets old. I could go on. If it makes you feel better, call me a coward. Take all the jabs you want. The fact I haven't killed people, well, until now, just offers a cheap avenue for insult. Even when the rational part of your brain is relieved I stuck to animals. There's no tangible strings of influence I have over anything anymore. So if nothing else, be sincere. Mourn the dead. And for your information, I say this not out of empathy. Nothing bores me more than loafing around. Don't stew in resentment. Get on with your damn lives, okay? Now all that's clear, 5 days went by without a hitch, and that's when I started seeing it. Nothing intrusive at first. I'd spy a figure in the distance swaying gently as reeds shimmering in the wind. The first time it was nothing but a fleeting curiosity. The second time it lodged inside my brain like thorns in a boot sole. An old man told me once, "A house can be haunted, but so can we." I know he was referring to memories, trauma, regret, but I don't carry those burdens. Maybe the universe sought to level the playing field, I don't know. I see that figure everywhere now, half obscured at the end of a grocery store aisle, standing on an overpass while I'm driving along the highway. Sometimes in places that make no sense physically speaking, like behind the stove extractor fan, small as if distant, yet contained in such a tiny space. By itself, not so scary. Of course, I wouldn't be here if things didn't worsen. When I stare at that thing, my head starts to pound. A static thrumming in my ears. Feels like everything else starts to crumble away except the figure. It only grows clearer the longer I gaze into its rippling silhouette. Let me tell you, nothing scares me. Not really, as long as I still have my agency. But whenever I notice it, swaying against the ashen sky, it's as if something outside of myself is sticking toothpicks between my eyelids. Leather straps around my limbs, holding me in place only to stare at the loose segments, rippling with the haze of a mirage and the swaying of kelp. The more I watch, and the less my thoughts wander, it approaches. I never see it moving, but it gets closer. Sharper. A few days ago, it got close enough for me to truly make out its body. I was correct about it being in segments, but only now could I count them. 11. 11 ragged pieces strung by glistening sinew and entrails. It'd be easy to say she's come back for me. From the grave, all that. Yet somehow I can tell that's only half the truth. Because when Melanie was close enough to fix me with her murky eyes, I noticed the thing behind her. Taut gray skin mottled by mangy tufts of hair. Those are the only consistently visible features. I can't help but feel she's picked up an errant companion somewhere between death and, well, whatever's after, if anything. Or maybe it found her. Either way, it's here now and I'm powerless to fight back. It can't be some form of post-mortem vengeance. Otherwise, why would it drive its blackened and chipped nails up into Melanie's exposed organs, twisting gargled screams out of her like some macabre conductor? Why would it coil and squeeze its phlegmy, splitting tongues through her nose and ears and mouth? All the while it fixes me with a glare through the gap of her neck, flat shark-like eyes somehow conveying a perversion so far past my own it sickens me. I really don't know what it wants. For me to feel like all those little animals did? Possibly. Although that feels a bit facile when I see the look in its eyes. I realized it wasn't Melanie herself wavering in the air after I saw the thing's torn and ancient rags drifting lazily around her sides as though underwater. From there, the world faded. Slowly, things just vanished. Number 17 across the street was replaced by monotone ground, a lumpy rock plain. And so it went for everything else. The looming forest hills to the east, gone. The main road leading out of town, gone. The entire industrial estate a couple of streets over. You get the picture. Just barren stone in place of what once was. The fear stagnated at first, then bubbled up with a needling ferocity. It started to become too much. My van was gone and I dared not leave the confines of my home, though at this point it was more of a prison than any sort of comfortable retreat. I caught a few mice in the pantry and made some crosses out of popsicle sticks, crucified them, got bored waiting for them to croak, so I ended up dunking them in a pot of boiling water till they stopped moving. In the past, something like that would have evened me out, but now those lifeless eyes bore into the back of my neck whenever I look away. The feeling is inescapable, the sound of its wet, guttural rumbling, insufferable. I wish it'd just get it over with. Tear my eyes out, hang me from my own intestines. I don't care. Everything else is gone now, other than my house. The windows offer a view out across an interminable plain. The sky's filled with dull clouds so that the horizon is practically invisible, blending seamlessly with stone. Shit, I just looked up from my laptop and even the house is gone. All at the mercy of this fucking thing that won't even show itself to me. Hiding behind my greatest sin, clacking teeth and all, bony mantis limbs unfolding, eyes reflecting the deepest, coldest ocean. The depth of their cruelty is immeasurable. It's standing right in front of me, still holding up the mangled body shield of Melanie, still flaying her skin and unsheathing her bones. I'd actually respect this monster's depravity if I weren't its prisoner. As I record this, I can see its drumming fingers in the corner of my eye. Is it impatient? Why is it even letting me type? I think it wants me to cast out my message in a bottle so it can be lost to the waves. It knows no one will ever read it, though if anyone does, I doubt they'd spare any empathy to seek me out. To that I say, fair enough. I'm a lot of things, but a hypocrite I am not. Haven't felt hungry in a while, or thirsty. I don't even feel tired, and I've been awake for, what, a week, 2? I've resigned to this fate, so I tried smashing my head into the ground over and over, desperate to end this nightmare. All it's done is give me a splitting headache, not a drop of blood. I'm laughing now. That's all I can equate its hacking rasps to. I can smell its breath polluting the air. Old blood and scorched bone with the heat to match. Melanie's screaming too, with whatever's left of her vocal cords. The disgusting symphony rattles inside my skull. It's the worst sound I've ever heard. I just looked up again and it's gone. Melanie's still there, weightless, though her eyes are that of the monsters. Sunless discs exuding venom-slicked malice so heavy it's palpable. I lost my rotor connection a while back, but had enough sense to take the SIM out of my phone and put it in the laptop. Mobile data still works, though I don't understand the logic dictating that. Fuck, I hope this isn't eternity. My mind's already broken once, but something fixed it up good as new, just to be crushed by the torment once more. The screeching, it's so loud. Maniacal cackles, tortured wailing, they already sound the same to me. It's not fair. What other psychotic piece of shit like me has been sentenced to something like this? People whose boundless savagery makes me look like a law-abiding citizen, where all they got were life or death sentences? It isn't fair. My body's frozen stiff. From terror or some unseen force, it's impossible to tell. I can feel the moist waves of its stinking breath on my neck, Stop it. Please. It isn't fair. Is that what she thinks? I can't, what? I didn't write that. I want to click post right now. It's just fucking ironic. In these last moments I'll ever have a connection to anyone, anywhere else, the words are lost on me. Say, Melanie, what do you think? The way its fingers unfold in my peripheral, like a massive spider uncurling its legs? My spine's itching. She thinks you've said enough. My thoughts exactly. Why? Why are you tainting my last words? It's not fair. This isn't fair. Oh, but it is. Now you can be with her. Never again lonely. Fingers creeping across my eyes. Peeling dry skin, it crackles and crunches by my ear, one extending with so many joints, so many, so loud, like gunfire. Ears hurt. Look, she's waiting for you. Melanie hangs festering before me. Her legs sway limply, toes grazing smooth stone. I never thought a sight could make a person so nauseous. Go, fall into her arms, and drown with her. Drown in the sweet song of your sin for all time. Her arms in pieces. Broken, violated. I only meant to come now. Well, what else is there to do? I have to go now. She's waiting in some form or another. To my friends, and no, it doesn't even matter. Each and every one of us will be forgotten, given time. God knows I've been given more than enough of that.